You've been serving everyone, yet being served the least. Not anymore. Hi guys, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. It's time to talk about business. This episode is called How to Pitch Yourself and Your Business with Confidence. Now in this episode, I'm going to talk about an experience I had pitching my business to a company out of Botswana. Now you guys know this is where I'm currently living. I'm all over the continent right now. I'm serving people all over the world. And so I had my first pitch with a company from Botswana, and I want to talk all about it. So I know that I help women make healthy, informed decisions in their personal and professional life using mental health strategies and business strategic planning. So even though I'm consulting with a company who is somewhat established, I help companies all across the board, from beginning to middle to just reimagining. Right? Remember, I consider myself an idealist, so I enter the dreaming zone with radical thinking. So I want to talk about my initial meeting. I'm in Botswana. It was a Friday night, and I said, hey, I just want to get out because I know that getting my business to get somewhere where I want it to be is all about exposure. And I'm willing to expose myself. So I went out Friday night listening to some good South African music, had some wine, was interrupted by a guy I did not want to talk to. I was brave enough to tell him, I don't want to talk to you. I want to mingle with other people. And I began to sit down with these two men right across from me. Now, as I'm telling them how I ditched this guy, and they're laughing, we start to talk about a little bit of what we both do and realize we both work in entertainment. This person was a former basketball player, played overseas. And again, I work with high profile talent in entertainment, mainly celebrities and your favorite activists. So he was a former international basketball player, but he told me ads was his new passion. So when he said ads was his new passion, my eyes get big because I'm like, well, I need to figure out how to get exposure in another kind of way. So I'm ready and open ears and ready to listen. And so what I noticed about this person as he was telling me a little bit more about himself, his business, is that he had a vision for his life and a vision for his company. Now, you guys know, right? I consider myself an idealist, but these people are generally visionaries as well. So I'm all in. I'm literally like, okay, all right. He has a vision. He knows where he wants to go. He's very excited about it. He also told me that he wanted me to come into the office to meet with his other partners. He ended up showing me a pitch deck in which I had to ask him in the form of a PDF. And he was just very adamant about me coming in that Monday morning to talk with the rest of the partners. Now, as we were talking, I realized that, because we got to realize that people are in it for themselves. So as his eyes were getting big and he said things like, oh, we're speaking the same language. I love this conversation. I'm really intrigued. I realized he wanted me to be a part of his company to help drive the business, right? I have expertise. He heard that and he wanted to be a part of it. And so I was all in because, hey, this is my first company. Let me go and practice my skills. And if I can convert them into a consulting client, like I'm here for that. Let's do it. And so he said, let's meet on Monday. But then again, I saw him 2 days later. Again, he was just hitting me up through the WhatsApp. We want you to be a part. We're so excited. I told this boss, that boss. And then he also is telling me other people that I should meet just around Gaborone, Botswana. So I'm here for it. Again, exposure is the goal. Like anyone who knows Latoya Deshawn and Patent Leather Project and likes it, like, let's go. So, but when he came over my house on Sunday and we just sat outside because everything is so close in Botswana, I asked him, where is he located on the web? Like, how can I look him up, look up the company, everything? That's when he showed me his PDF. Now, when he showed me his PDF, automatically I knew there was some concerns with the lack of a social presence, which I equate to brand authority. So we're talking about how to pitch yourself in your business with confidence. You must have brand authority. People must be able to find you, search you. If it's not your business, then find you. But you should be somewhere present, because when we're talking about pitching ourselves in our business, it's about know, like, and trust, which is your market validation, right? People need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And trust takes a little bit longer. So even though he's talking a good game, the trust factor is not really there. But what kept my attention is because he had a vision for his life and for his company. And then we were both spiritually connected to a higher being. You know, he had an incredible story. I mean, just everything he had went through and how he's overcome and how he's helping now. I mean, he still teaches kids in South Africa. He has this business and he had this really great basketball career. He wanted me to take his company to the next level. Now, on that Sunday before we met on Monday, he said it very plainly. I need you to help me to get more ad space because I think this is like a film and production company. Keep in mind, I'm still not as clear, even with him showing me this PDF. I looked at this PDF and I'm thinking, this is a whole lot of what? What are you really saying? What do you want to do? In my opinion, it was just a nice graphic design. But not a lot of value inside from my perspective. Just mine. It's mine. I'm entitled to have it because I'm still not clear on what they do and how they make money, if they're making money. But he just knew he needed my help to take it to the next level via getting ad space to, I guess, have his content on like TV and film platforms. Again, I don't know. Now, I get there. Well, it's Monday morning, and then I'm wondering, why hasn't he sent me directions? I told him I wanted to have my assistant there and also a videographer because I'm growing my business and it's important that I show my authority through showing the behind the scenes of my business. And which he said, okay, to all of that. But how am I supposed to know how to tell my personal assistant to show up? When are they gonna, what location are we going to go to? Just everything. And so my videographer wasn't available, but my personal assistant was. And so he met at my house because, he's efficient. He knows how I work. And he was there for me. And I really appreciate it. The meeting was supposed to start at 9:30. Now, keep in mind, y'all, we on the continent and there's a certain thing as Africa time. Black folks in America have CP time. We get on this continent, it's African time. And that can be anywhere, like from 4 hours to 6 hours late. I mean, it's just a long time. But he specifically said 9:30, but then switched it to 10 a.m. I'm like, okay, because in my mind, I know how long I'm going to be at this meeting. I'm only going to give them till 11 o'clock because my time is valuable. And just for anybody who wants to know how to pitch anything, right? There's a book called Pitch Anything. And one of the things in the pitch is that your time is valuable and you don't let anyone waste it. This is the first step in becoming an alpha in the meeting as opposed to a beta. Now, again, so much more information in that book. That's one of the ways you can start to become confident in what you are building. So after I aggressively told him to give me the address, he wasn't even there. He said, I'm on my way. And I'm thinking, why aren't you there? Like, you begged me to come to this meeting by Friday. You wanted me to meet these people. So we get the address. My personal assistant is from Botswana. So we proceeded to walk there because it's really not far. So I get there and I say, hey, I'm here for a meeting with such and such. And they said, who? I'm here for a meeting with such and such. Now, I was a little bit upset that they didn't know who I was. They didn't know that I was on my way there, they didn't have a setup for me. Knowing that the standards are different here on the continent versus America, that still doesn't apply to me and how I work, right? Because I don't think it's about it being on this continent versus America. It's about people who really want to show up for themselves and want to show out. And so I was immediately just taken aback because I can tell that, I don't want to say I was wasting my time, but that this was purely a learning moment and not a moment to convert this client into this prospective client into a real client. I also tested him. I told him, I said, when I come to this meeting on Monday, I want a cafe latte. I really want a cafe latte. And I did that just to see if he would concentrate and focus on the little things that matter to get me to commit to whatever it is he wanted me to commit to in this meeting. Right? Something as simple as just make sure I have a cafe latte. We're meeting in the morning. I really appreciate that. There was no cafe latte. There was no man to present a cafe latte. And so, not having a cafe latte, not having anyone know me in the office, the lack of communication and preparation for my arrival was apparent. And I just was not happy about that. So let's talk about when we get in this meeting. So again, I'm only giving them until about 11 a.m. I get there around 10:05. I want to say they came in the room about 10:47. I know it was 10:47 because I said, you only have 13 minutes. That's all you're going to get from me because I'm not going to deal with that. Not only, was no one there when he did show up, it was just him. And I'm thinking, me and him already talked for the last 2 days. Where are these people that you want me to meet so bad? No one at the office knew I was coming. The head guy wasn't even there. The original contact, the guy who I originally met, was 45 minutes late. What I didn't like about him being late was that he wasn't honest when I was talking to him. He kept saying 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, and I told him on the phone, I said, just be honest about how long you're going to be. Like, it's not even a big deal, but your lack of honesty is a problem right now. And so he gets there around 10:45, maybe sit down at around 10:47, we're talking. Now keep in mind, he has a vision, so he's dressed up, he's ready to go, even in his lateness. Like, I can see his passion, and I love it so much because, it's what it needs to be for us to continue on, like, doing great work. And so with 13 minutes left, I presented, had my personal assistant as my videographer. And I did my thing. I went in there. There were about 4 questions that I asked to get an idea of their business. Where are they at? Where do they want to go? There was a few more questions after that. What are your efforts that you have done to get where you want to go? And how can I help? And so let's just say, y'all, it didn't work out well. I said 13 minutes. I was out of there in 13 minutes. I presented. It didn't seem like they had a plan of anything. These people literally need to start from the ground up. And so I gave them my suggestions as to how we can go about doing that and what that relationship can look like. A few of the things in the meeting. So he had a woman who I guess considered herself a producer in the meeting as well. And he allowed her to talk the whole time. In my opinion, I'm thinking she's a little bit below him in his status. So why are you letting her speak the entire time? But I think in just his desire to have me on board, he just wanted someone else to feel my energy, the feeling that he had felt the last 2 times we met. So I get why he had her in the meeting. He just wanted someone to speak about me beyond him speaking on my good graces, even though his people didn't show up. So I realized that, I'm talking to this woman. She doesn't have a vision. She doesn't know where they want to be in 5 years. She's also making all the excuses in the world, talking about Botswana and the government and what they don't have. And it was just a negative self-talk to me. And she also When I spoke about the social media presence and owned media, like there was literally none. Keep in mind, this is a film and production company. So where are your assets? And so left the meeting. You know, he understood I left. I wasn't going to spend any more time. There was no need to do that. And so I'm walking back to a restaurant with my friend and I'm like, let's grab a cafe latte. Let me finally get my cafe latte. And I said, I would love to have your feedback to just let me know what you experienced in that meeting, because I don't really have people with me. A lot of times I'm by myself. And so just in the spirit of learning, how can I be better? What do we take away from this whole experience? So my friend is from Botswana. He sees the inconsistencies. And so he is able to give me some of the lessons he took away from the meeting. So when we talk about how to pitch your business with confidence, these are the lessons on how to pitch with confidence that my friend gave me that I think will work, that I know will work for anyone who wants to enter the dreaming zone, that radical level of belief where they get the desires of their heart. First thing he said was, hands down, time management. So ever since he's known me, I've been a person who cares about time. For me, time is about respect, but also he said, you must show up for yourself if you want people to show up for you. Like, how you gonna get me to buy in to what you're selling and you don't even show up for yourself in your preparation? You don't show up with your attendance, just anything. Like, how can you, if this is how you start, I for sure don't want to finish with you, because you need to start how you want to finish. And so I know this to be true because when my career changed with my makeup and I started getting really high profile clients, but not only that, making money equivalent to working with those clients, I realized that I needed to show up and show out. I had a trainer that I worked with at a very prestigious makeup company, and I saw her appear and show up to work 2 hours early before her client. And I was just like, wow, she got to set up at her leisure. She's able to walk around the store and just talk and mingle, and then she's ready to do her client. It was at that moment I realized, Toya, get it together, because this woman makes money. And if you want to make money like her, then you need to show up. Because what we make in makeup for an hour and a half worth of work is sometimes more than what people make in a whole month. So the least I can do is show up early. And that was the day I changed my behaviors to get the desires of my heart, those radical desires of my heart. So you must show up and you must show out. The next thing is self-belief is very important. Like, your preparation shows your confidence, right? And because you're prepared, people are going to be inspired by you and your business. Because people work for people. And so what is your vision? That's the one thing that I would say is that he did have going on for him, that he himself had such a vision and he believed in it so much that he got me to this meeting. Even when I knew like it was a little ghetto. Okay, let me just call it that, a little ghetto. And so he has a vision that just transcended what he was building, and I was just here for it. And so I was inspired by him and his work. But I realized you can't just put a building in there and think that everybody's going to be inspired. Right? People work for people. So inside of that building are people. Inside of your company is people. Inside of whatever you're building, your services, there are people. So your preparation in how you deal with people shows your level of confidence in what you're building. The next thing is you must invest in yourself. Let me say that again. You must invest in yourself, people. Black people, we are so used to like wanting a handout or just being lazy until something comes to us. That's just not how life works. You must spend money on your business. Now, again, going back to this office, because he kept saying at the office. And I get into this office and I'm like, y'all ain't even got no damn clean chairs. This table is not what it needs to be. This room is not what it needs to be. In my opinion, why do you need an office? We can do this from y'all house over Zoom, or we could just get together. And so again, in this effort of Black people want to be seen, valued, and heard, we'll put the optics out there to give us validity. But when people are really doing the work, we can see exactly what you're not doing. So the office was dirty, the chairs were terrible. He kept, he just kept talking about the office. And I just found it to be very unnecessary for their business to thrive. Stop trying to look good on the outside. The development of your brand is more important. And, it should be purpose-led. So getting into purpose-led, my friend, he said, you must have a purpose. You must know how what you're building affects you, your next door neighbor, and the world ultimately. And so even though he had a vision, I didn't know how that vision works for the entire world. Now keep in mind, the market was mainly Botswana, but I help people with global connections. So it's not just Botswana, the world needs your help. And one of the things that they said was a problem was getting funding. And I said, if you know Botswana is a problem, then why are you still hanging on to Botswana? There's so many ways to network where people can see you and want to support your business. So it must be purpose-led, and it must affect the world, right? And change the world. At least that's also what my mentor Swiss B says. He said he don't do anything out here unless it changes the world. And I never forget that. And that's why I'm so glad I built Patent Leather Project, because it is something that is changing the world. The last thing is you must let go of anyone and anything that do not serve you and your purpose. Come on. You must let go of anyone and anything that does not serve you and your purpose. Now, here's the thing. I really loved his passion. Even at the end of that 13 minutes, we took some pictures and, he said he appreciated me being there. And I told him, I said, you really do have a passion for what you want to do. You have a vision. But I said, sir, you're only as fast as your slowest runner. And these people who you keep calling your partners, they didn't even show up. They didn't even show up for you. So what does that mean for what you're trying to get done? I really, really was sold on just his passion, but I don't want to work with people who you're driving fast and they're not driving at all. So, but I know he's not willing to let go of them. I know it. And how many times we're trying to make major moves and do radical things in our life, and we're still holding on to things of the past, things we can't let go. Like, I feel sorry for, I don't want to say I feel sorry, but I kind of feel sorry because I can't find a better word. But I'm saddened for him because I really want him to get the desires of his heart. But the pathway is one where he's going to have to let go of the things and people that do not serve him and his purpose. And because I am working in purpose, I certainly ain't working with anybody that's about to slow me down. Okay, that's not what my God told me. And so what does investing in yourself look like? Because when my friend gave me all of these gems, I really thanked him, my friend and personal assistant. I was just like, wow, you got all of that? Because he's learning and he's soaring right now, and I'm so proud of him. But what does investing in yourself look like? For me, it's financially, emotionally, and spiritually. So financially, you need to spend some money on your business. You need to invest in yourself. You don't necessarily have to spend a lot, but you need to pay to play, okay? Mentorship, you need to pay to get access, whatever that is. But a lot of times people are paying for things like websites and domain names and all of that. But really, you need to invest in someone who could take you where you want to go, who's been where you want to go. So that's a financial thing. And Black folks, we will go invest in everything. Okay, we will go and have the biggest party on the weekend, buy all the liquor. We will be flying off the country, city to city, but we will not take the time to invest in ourselves to get where we want to go. So financially is one of them. Emotionally, right? There's a lot of mental health concerns. There's a lot of Black folks are dealing with the same stuff of playing small, of not being seen, valued, and heard, and needing to create new practices, having ways to affirm themselves. It's just so much. And I'm so glad I created these strategies. But, we really need to get our mental health in order and need to realize that foundationally, we don't need to worry about being seen, valued, and heard, but whether we need to get intimate with ourselves to know exactly who we are and where we want to go, who we want to be around, how we make meaning of the world, all these things. This is what I teach in my business strategic planning. Like, we start there, not plan. The other thing is spiritually. So how do you make meaning of the world? Are you spiritually grounded? What are your practices for the day? Are you tapping into the things that you can't see, the faith that you have to have, the radical belief that you have to get to where you want to go in your life and your business? This is a huge level of personal development. That's why I say, even though I work with brands, there are people inside of there. And so people need to be developed. And it's one of my favorite things to do is to show people, to give them that self-awareness so that they can get out of their way and enter the dreaming zone with the desires of their heart. And so in conclusion, what my friend told me is, you are the best advocate for yourself and your brand. You need to do the required work. Do the required work. Okay? The word required is important because everybody's thinking they're working, but a lot of this stuff ain't required. Foundationally, financially, emotionally, spiritually, what is the required work to you? And are you going to show up for yourself? Okay? This is how you can pitch yourself in your business with confidence. Now, I suggest that anyone who haven't done these things, don't try to go out there and pitch. Spend some time, write it down, get clear, and you will be way more effective when you go out there selling yourself, which is ultimately, selling your business, which is ultimately selling yourself. And if you need help in those ways, this is some ways to get in touch with me. I'm going to keep on saying it. I offer virtual coaching. I help you build your confidence, walk in your purpose, and make healthy, informed decisions about your personal and professional life. I am a guide as you show up for yourself, gain the confidence, and enter the dreaming zone of life where you have better, positive relationships, you're holding yourself in high regard, and you're making the most money you've ever made. If that's you and you're seeking to go there personally and professionally, get at me for virtual coaching at info@patentleatherproject.com. Also, I offer consulting. Like I said, I just went in there and pitched my first business over in Botswana, but I help small and medium-sized corporations develop their corporate identity and branding using mental health strategies and business strategic planning. I mean, from the mental health, from the strategy, I saw what was necessary, and I wish that they wanted to move towards that way because, man, I just want to be out here and help folks with all that I know. And they really, really need to foundationally go back to the drawing board to create a bigger vision, to just even create a vision for their life, because homegirl didn't even have a 5-year plan. And that was not something I like seeing. And so in doing that, I empower the teams and staff to build confidence and work towards the vision and mission of the company while also looking at personal pursuits, right? Let's set some real plans, set some real goals. Let's get you where you want to be in less than 18 months. That's what I do. info@patentleatherproject if you and your company is interested in consulting. You will see me on the media appearances and lecturing if you are listening to this podcast and you're able to offer me somewhere where I can be on the TV screen helping to empower people and move them into the dreaming zone of life. Just let me know. info@patentleatherproject.com. But you will see me on your TV coming soon. And again, I couldn't have been where I was at if I didn't have such an extensive career in entertainment and service. I am still a personal makeup artist to high-profile talent, as well as a business strategist and mental health expert. So I do all the things because God said so. It's a part of my purpose. So I still work with high-profile talent. I'm looking to get signed soon. You will see me all over the world, working with these people, serving them, doing the same stuff in a different capacity, because this is what I've been doing since I could basically talk. I've been trying to show people the way, and whether I'm doing it through consulting, whether I'm doing it through mental health strategies and or doing your makeup, we are getting your confidence level where it needs to be to go out there and represent yourself well. Last but not least, social media. I'm on Instagram, Latoya Deshawn, LatoyaDeshaun. Latoya Deshawn. You can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I don't know. I just know I'm everywhere but TikTok. YouTube, Everything on Purpose with Latoya Deshawn. Go ahead and look me up. And again, if you want to view my portfolio of my makeup work, www.latoyadeshawn.com. That page will be switching over to an all-encompassing page of me, and then that page will switch to lifeofamakeupartist.com. Thank you guys so much. If you're out here trying to start your business and you want to know how to pitch with confidence, you just got some good gems. Hit me up in the next episode. We're only going up from here. Thank you guys. Have a really great day.